so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, what we're going to do today is our housing market update video. And you guys know I try to do that Thursday. Once again, I did not make Thursday. I'm sorry, you guys. So this is Saturday morning edition housing market update. And where I'm going to start is accessing my multiple listing service so we can get live active data. And I'm going to show you guys a home and listing that just had a over a $300,000 price cut. And then I'm going to show you two new listings that are selling for $103 a square foot. And obviously, because the housing market right now is being ravaged by interest rates, after that, I'm going to pull up last week's poll, and then I'm going to pull up Fed economic data so that we know what this week's average 30-year fixed rate mortgage is. And then we'll end that segment by accessing treasuries to see what the projection for next week's trajectory of rates will be. Now, after that, I'm going to access two Fed economic data charts regarding new construction. And I think you guys are going to be shocked to see what I found out. Essentially, they changed all of the data right from underneath us. Now, after that, I'm going to access Fed economic data chart showing whether or not the Federal Reserve has started selling mortgage-backed securities or not. So I have good news on that front. And then we're going to end on accessing a brief article and bullet points on the Tuesday report regarding the labor market, because I think it's important to really understand what the Federal Reserve is going to do next. Now, the conclusion of the video will be me making several points as to why the current trends are not seasonal, okay? But regardless, whether or not they're seasonal, we are going to have additional pressures on these trends because we're entering seasonal months of price decline. So that's what we're going to do today, you guys. For these efforts, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and shoot me a comment below. But let's get started right now by accessing my local MLS. But first, I want to make a point about me staying in the Kingwood area. Now, you guys know that I've been talking about the Kingwood area for about 4 to 5 months, and I've kept us in that small box. And the value in doing that is I really can't biasly create a narrative. I'm stuck with a small area. I'm stuck with the limited supply of data to try to figure out the trends. So I think it's important that we stay in that box and you guys learn what can happen in a hyper local housing market. But not only that, real quick, I want to talk about price per square foot. Okay. Now, I've been looking at houses based on price per square foot. I want you guys to understand that that is a limited beginner way of looking at a whole bunch of data to decide whether or not we should dig deep and spend more time reviewing that property. So price per square foot, it is very limited and it is not how you determine value. But again, you guys, it allows me to look at a whole bunch of data to determine if I want to spend my time or not. And the way that I determine price per square foot and what I'm looking for is I access sales data from 2020 and 2021, and I figure out what homes we're selling for in the area that I want to buy for what price per square foot. And that's what I determine when we're looking at my local housing market. So let's get started with accessing my multiple listing service right now. All right, guys. So here is my local MLS. This is har.com. Now, obviously, here's Houston. You guys know that Kingwood is north of that, north of Humble, south of New Caney. So let's start with the price cut. Okay. So it's right down here. And you guys, like I said, I have very limited data. Now, this is a little bit higher price point. Take a look at this listing. And here's the important thing. Here's what I really want you to understand. This is a recent price cut. Okay. This is not old, like I've, missed it or withheld it. This is recent. So take a look. All right. So this home was originally listed for $1.85 million, you guys. It has now been reduced to $1.5 million, which means that's a price cut of $350,000 or 8.9%. That is a massive, massive price cut, guys, massive price cut. But now I want to show you some houses that I found that actually have a very good sales price as far as price per square foot. All right, so here's the first home, guys, and this was listed on September 29th. So this is a brand new listing, and I want to show you guys this. So this is being sold for $103 a square foot. Now this price point is getting into 2020 price points in my area. So this is a beautiful thing. As you can see here, it's been on the market for 2 days. It does need a little bit of TLC. But let me show you guys, as you can see, it looks like a flipper or investor had this and started repairing it to flip or something. You can see there's new floors in there and actually didn't quite finish. There's a couple areas that need to be worked on, like this bathroom, but not too much, a little bit of paint here. Doesn't look like too bad a condition, but this is signs of things to come because like I've been saying, we're now going into months with historical seasonal price decline. So we have all these pressures plus additional price decline based on seasonal aspects as well. So let me show you guys one more right now. All right, now for our next one, let's go a little bit further down on this map and see, here we go. So now this one was also listed couple days ago. As you can see, 2 days ago, looks like it was relisted, but it was listed at $275. And again, you guys, that's $103 a square foot. So you can see I'm starting to see, decent deals in my housing market. Now, obviously, the house is in livable condition, but I would probably want to change some things, flooring and things like that if I was going to purchase this, but not a bad kitchen. The kitchen's nice, $103 a square foot. I mean, it's an open floor plan. So, if you're looking for more affordable housing, lower price per square foot, at least I'm starting to see that in my local housing market, which is really exciting. And you guys have been a part of that. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you guys the harm in new construction prices going down, specifically for people that have recently purchased property. So what I'm going to do is put filters on my next MLS search, and we're also going to pull up sales data for houses that have sold within the last 180 days. So I'm going to show you what these price reductions are really doing to people that currently live in the community. Take a look. All right, so as you can see, still the Kingwood area. So I'm drawing from the same local market, you guys. So I'm finding these trends with limited data. So I'm going to go up to this builder right here, and I want to show you guys first this house that's currently listed. Okay, so this is a new build community. This house is listed right now for $289,000. And I want you to pay attention to the model house, 2194 square feet. So this is the 2194 square feet is listed for $289,900. And now what I want to show you is what has recently sold in this community. Okay, so let me just scroll down here a little bit. Now let me access this first one. So take a look at this. This is the same house. Look, 2194, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. It sold for $308,657 on September 16th. So the sale finalized just 2 weeks ago. That's outrageous. So that represents a loss of $18,667 or 6% loss. So this person that closed on this house 2 weeks ago, the same house is now selling for 6% less. So that's a trend of things to come. Like I said, we're in months now that this is going to continue. Okay, this is going to get even worse. But now those people are trapped in the house. And not only that, look, here's another one. This sold September 15th for $298,000. If they would have just waited 2 weeks, they could have got the house for about $10,000 cheaper. But these guys are now stuck in the house. They can't refinance into a lower rate. They don't have the equity. But not only that, let me show you one more community up here that we've been watching. Take a look. Let me get to it. Okay, right over here. Now take a look at what I found out. All right, let me zoom in here a little bit. Let me zoom in. Okay, now here's the one I want to point out that's up for sale for $330,000. So this is currently up for sale with a price reduction at $330,000. This house was 2,108 square feet. Okay, this has a recent price cut 7 days ago, 9/23, so the 23rd of September of $27,000. So this was recently price cut, but I want to show you guys what has also recently closed. Take a look at this. All right, so this sold for $350,000. This is the exact same house. Look, 2108 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms. But this sold for 300. This sold and closed, you guys. This sold and closed September 27th, 3 days ago, for $350,000. 3 days ago. This house is now listed. The same house is now listed for $20,000 less, which represents a 5.7% reduction in price, meaning the most recent purchaser of that house is now upside down an additional $20,000. And I'm showing you that so you guys put it in perspective, because remember, this is a super local housing market. I have limited data. There's only so much I can send to you guys. So imagine all of the trends out there that you need to find yourself. But what I want to show you guys now is I'm going to access the two charts from Fred Economic Data that goes into new construction. This just updated on the 27th of September, and the months of supply went from 10.4, and you guys remember it was at 10.9. So the next chart I'm going to show you is going to have all of the data changed. Fred just changed all of the July data. It's really crazy. I'll show you that next. But as you can see, it went down. It was changed to 10.4. It was 10.9, but it went from 10.4 to 8.1 months of supply. So what this demonstrates to me is the softening of the July housing market. Now, I know the Fed didn't pivot, but rates went down in July, and a lot of people actually purchased houses. And that's why I'm saying, let's just say there was a softening in July that should never have happened. The Federal Reserve could have taken actions to prevent that. But here's the good news. We're at 8.1. So new construction, you guys, it's still an overwhelming buyer's market, because generally, in order for it to be a buyer's market, we need over 6 months of inventory. We have 8.1. So there's still great opportunities in new construction, and we're going to continue to see that throughout the year. But take a look at the median sales price for new homes right now. So this is crazy. April is no longer the peak of prices for new construction. Fred has changed it to July. If you guys remember, July was actually much lower. It's now been increased to the peak. Okay, so July is the new peak at $466,300, and that's now dropped. So here's the August number. So that's dropped to $436,800, representing a drop of $29,500, or a 6.3% drop from peak, which is July, to right now. So that is a 6.3% drop. And once again, guys, what I'm telling you is as we go into seasonal, normal price decline months, things are going to get much worse. Now, what I want to jump into is everything interest rates, because by this time, we now know that the Federal Reserve is intentionally trying to crash our market, and that's being led by residential mortgage rates and the federal funds rates being raised. So where I want to start is let's pull up last week's poll. All right, so here's last week's poll. You guys vote on the new one that I will post on my community tab as soon as this video is uploaded. But according to Fred, here's the question. According to Fred, will Thursday's 929 updated 30-year fixed rate mortgages be higher or lower than the current average of 6.29? My guess was a decent bump higher, so upward trajectory to around 6.49%. Now, regardless, I'm asking the trajectory. I'm not asking specifics, but comment specifics on the thread. But as you can see, 94% of people also thought that rates were going to be higher once Fred Economic Data updated, which they do every Thursday. So let's take a look now. All right, so here's Fred 30-year fixed rate mortgages. As you guys can see, they went up a lot, you guys. It's gone up to 6.7%, or from the last week, which was September 22nd, to right now, that is a difference of 41 basis points, which translates to 4.1% of purchasing power wiped out in a 1 week period of time. That is absolutely astonishing, you guys. Interest rates have essentially been going straight up. And again, I believe that's a result of the softening months. But if we go into a further, time span here, rates are significantly higher than they have been in over a decade. Now, my first interest rate was actually 6.7%, but I'm saying, if you look at it, relatively to the last decade, they're the highest they've ever been in quite some time. Now, remember this very important thing. The normal person is going to get an interest rate 50 to 75 basis points higher than the average. So like I said last week and the week before, we're going to have many people, well, it's already evident now, but we're going to have a lot of people that get rates in September at 7%. That is undisputable right now. So now the next question is will they reach 8%? Let's pull up the treasuries and bonds right now. Okay, now this is as of September 30th at 3:19 p.m. And you guys saw that I posted a picture of this that showed 4%, but I've been watching this 10-year right now. Now, obviously, all of the other bonds are inverted, which means they're higher over the 10-year, except the 3-month. Now, the 10-year shot up essentially when Tuesday's labor report came out. So I'm going to share that with you guys towards the end. But look at this, you guys. I mean, it's skyrocketing. The 10-year is skyrocketing. I'm also going to show you guys mortgage-backed securities. But as a result of this 10-year continuously going up, I'm going to say we're going to have an additional interest rate hike of 29 basis points, and I'm going to say 6.99% because America's not ready for the average interest rate of 7%. And remember, add 50 to 75 basis points on top of that. But I suspect we're going to be going up, guys, and I'm going to go right under 7% at 6.99. I'm going to send a poll out. Do me a favor and vote on that. Now, let's access the mortgage-backed security charts because I have some really good news for you. It finally appears like the Federal Reserve is selling mortgage-backed securities. Take a look. All right, once again, you guys, I'm using FRED. This is the security held outright, mortgage-backed securities, okay? So essentially, and this is in the millions of dollars, okay? So this is in the millions of dollars. I'll break that down for you in a minute. The peak of September, we were at 2.7 million, okay? So I'll add the zeros here in a minute, but we're at 2.718, okay? So fast forward to the end of September, that was reduced to 2.698, which represents a reduction of $20.3 billion. So props to the Federal Reserve. It finally looks like they are selling mortgage-backed securities. It does not look like they sold the 35 billion that they said they were, but 20 billion is better than nothing. And I'm pretty sure that we can all see the effects that the selling of mortgage-backed securities are having on residential mortgage rates. So I'm thinking the more they sell mortgage-backed securities, residential mortgage rates will probably go up. So now let's look at a brief snippet of what happened on Tuesday with the labor market, because remember, you guys, Jerome Powell has said one of the primary ways he wants to see inflation go down and things he wants to see is job loss. He wants job loss. He wants unemployment to go up. He does not want job openings right now. So this report is pretty important. Take a look. All right, guys. So this is not what Jerome Powell wanted to see for a pivot. This is only going to cause him to tighten even more because this implies our labor market can handle additional tightening. Let's read it. Jobless claims hit 5-month low despite Fed's effort to slow labor market. Initial filings for unemployment claims fell last week to their lowest level. In 5 months last week. The drop to 193,000 was below the estimate of 215,000. And you guys, that's why the Federal Reserve is going to continue to tighten. But not only that, I suspect, and I've heard them several times, essentially say that American households right now are in super good shape, essentially meaning that we can handle the tightening. So now I'm thinking like, hey, we actually may have a worse housing market price crash. I'm not talking foreclosure. Price crash than we did in 2008 because we, in their minds, can handle it, right? So can we really handle it? At least that's what I think that's going on in their mind and is going to give them more excuses to continue tightening up. Now, where I want to end is I want to list several different reasons why the data and trends that we're seeing right now are not seasonal. Now, realtors and people that are super biased are still going to say, oh no, wait, let's see what's going to happen in April. Everything's going to change in April like it always does. Things always go down this time of year. So they're going to play that narrative. So I'm going to list you guys several reasons why this isn't seasonal, starting with number one. Interest rates. Right now, we're getting interest rate hikes to the federal funds rate of 75 to 100 basis points. Okay. In 2008, it was 10 to 25 basis points. So we're getting massive hits to the federal funds rate. But not only that, Jerome Powell. So this is to you realtors in denial. Jerome Powell has already told us we're going to go through pain. The housing market is going to reset. We have that from him. How often does he say that? Is that a seasonal thing that he says? I mean, come on, think about it. But also, canceled contracts are at historical high. The last time they were this high was during lockdown. They're surging past 15% and in the 20s in certain metro areas. So a bunch of people are canceling contracts. And with the additional skyrocketing interest rates, there's going to be even more canceled contracts moving forward that are not seasonal. On top of that, we now have multiple big metro areas, listen to me, with year over year price decline. That is anything but seasonal. Several metro areas. Now, like I've been saying, people are like, oh, Travis, things aren't year over year, and it's important to a lot of people. And I'm like, you got to look at month over month to really understand the direction. But regardless, for them, we now have multiple metro areas with year over year price decline. That's not seasonal. Another bad one, mortgage demand right now, and I can feel this myself. It's actually extremely painful. Mortgage demand right now is down 30%. You guys, it's down 30%. That's like decade lows right there. Mortgage demand is down 30%. New home build construction, new buildings are up around a decade high at 8.1 months of supply. But the biggest reason of all, you guys, the biggest reason of all that this isn't seasonal, the last 2 years, we had roughly 40% increase in home equity when we should have had more like 10%, which would have matched the fundamentals of a typical 5% income growth expectation. So those are a few of the reasons why what's going on is not seasonal. Some people still need to hear that. But regardless, you guys, that's today's video. And I really hope you got some value from it. Do me a favor, comment below. Let me know what value you got from today's video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.